Good afternoon, Eric Arnold here in the Sports Barn. Thursday, May 28th. What's the topic for today as we continue our 30-team MLB preview? Well, we're going to be talking about the Cincinnati Reds, one of the oldest teams in MLB. That's what we're talking about today. We're going under the assumption there's going to be baseball. I mean, we're I think we're 11 teams into this preview, so it's too far in to stop now. You watch ESPN, they'll tell you the latest news, and it just seems like MLB may or may not play. There's no good reason for them not to play. The virus is starting to move in a positive direction. Even the most Naziest of Nazi governors are starting to lighten up, and the world is not ending. So everything's going in a positive direction. NBA, they're going to play some playoff games at some point. The NHL is definitely going to play some playoff games at some point. There's absolutely no reason whatsoever the MLB couldn't play some kind of season this year. The only holdup is money. And with all the money that organization makes, you'd think that the millionaires and billionaires would be able to come together. But they haven't. The owners are just, I think they're hardlining the players right now. Now, that doesn't mean I'm taking the players' side. If there's no baseball, there's no baseball, and fuck you both. But we'll see how that goes. I saw somebody, let's see, what have I seen? One of the major news items is Max Scherzer, one of the Player Association major voices, has basically called the owner's latest pay proposal a non-starter. So they're not even going to consider the latest proposal from the owners. So we're back to square one. But I saw something interesting. I think it was Trevor Plouffe maybe who pointed this out. I'm not sure. But basically he said the owners want to play as few regular season games as possible. In other words, the more games they play, the more money they lose. They'd be perfectly happy just canceling the season if they could get away with doing that. So it's in their benefit just to drag this out. Let's just drag this out. Let's just throw out every outrageous proposal we can think of, and maybe they'll say yes. Oh, you said no to that? Well, how about you give us your firstborn child? No? No to that? Okay, what else? How about you give us all your money and let us have sex with your wife? No? Oh, come on, man. That was close. They'll just keep throwing out proposals, and, it doesn't matter to them that the clock just keeps ticking because I think I saw the drop-dead number that Plouffe threw out there was 60. That for some reason they think they could play a viable season at 60. I don't know if that's in a contract somewhere with the networks. But at 60, they could still do it. So, hell, that would run us into almost September. So they could just keep throwing numbers out there that are ridiculous, and this could drag on and on. Whatever. I'm going to pretend like we're going to have a season. They drag it out that long, we'll be into hockey and basketball playoffs, and before you know it, it'll be football season, which is what we're good at anyway. I'm baseball. That's the fourth of the four sports I handicap. I'm best at the NFL, second best at college football, then college basketball, and then there's the MLB. The MLB is intriguing just because there's so many games. I think the profit potential is so great because there's so many games. But I also think it's hardest. So I was really looking forward to practicing some this season, but it just doesn't seem like that's going to happen. At any rate, let's move. I'm trying to think if there was anything else there in the MLB that you needed to know about. I don't know. This isn't the last video, so if I think of something, we'll just make it up at that point. The Reds from the NL Central I know a lot of Reds fans. I contacted one of them, tried to get his opinion of this team. I mean, my feeling on this team is this team's terrible. That's my feeling on this team. I mean, 75 wins, 67 wins, 68 wins, 68 wins, 64 wins. For those of you not from the United States, 81 is break even. And the Reds have not really come close to break even in the last 5 years. In the last 5 years, their return on investment is minus 9.2%. Only the Detroit Tigers are worse in the last 5 years. The Reds have basically been one of the worst bets in the last 20 years as far as a return on investment. Vegas has your number. The website I have has it at 83.5, but then the VIG to play the over is so high. In other words, everybody thinks they're going over 83.5. Everybody. So I just bumped it up again, 84.5. And even that seems high. But, so what do we think of this? 84.5. I mean, last year this team finished with 75 wins. They were expected to win 79. They had 75. 12th in runs. That seems low. They play, I would think, in a baseball offense favorable park. They have 12th in the National League. That seems like that sucks. 13th in runs allowed. That seems incredibly odd to me because they had some good starting pitchers last year. I guess their bullpen's just awful. Fielding was pretty good. They actually caught the ball decently. 4th. Manager. This is his second year. David Bell. What do we know about David Bell? I've had a long-standing grudge against David Bell dating back to September 27, 2005. On September, did I say December? September 27, 2005, the Phillies are in the midst of a playoff push, but they gotta win this game. They've only got like 4 games left, and they've got to beat the Mets tonight. They've got to beat the Mets. And I'm at the game, and they're losing 3-2, and we're in the 8th inning. And there's 2 outs, and this jerk-off is on first base. And Shane Victorino rips a single up the middle, and David Bell goes booking around second base, heading for third, even though there's 2 outs. And Carlos Beltran just picks that ball up and BAM! Hero out. 3rd out at third base, inning over. Jimmy Rollins standing in the on-deck circle, waiting to drive in the run. But he doesn't get a chance because this son of a bitch got thrown out. And I've had a grudge against this bastard ever since. So, what else do we know about David Bell? David Bell, listed in the Mitchell report. Remember that? He was wrapped up in a deal. They raided one of these New Age clinics. They, the federal government, raided this New Age clinic, and David Bell had a prescription there dating back to 2005. Ye of the getting thrown out at third base Phillies in 2005. A human growth hormone. A prescription. Now, at the point they found him in 2007, he was out of the league at that point, and he just said, "Oh, I had a prescription for that." Well, nevertheless, he ended up in the Mitchell report for that, and he didn't have no fucking prescription. You know goddamn well he didn't. So, he's a roider. I think we can safely say that. I've always wondered, you know, I was just saying this to somebody today, where's the punishment for some of these people? Where's the punishment? I'm subjected right now to this Lance Armstrong documentary, making this guy out to be something that, other than a piece of shit, which is what he is. And now David Bell, he manages in the majors. He's a roider. He's a cheater. He's your manager, Reds. This is a guy that's too damn stupid to know in his 10th year in the league that you don't get thrown out at third base with 2 outs or 3 outs. You don't make the third out at third base. You don't make the third out at third base. He must have been 58 years old when he got thrown out in 2005 and cost us a chance at the playoffs, bastard. Not that I'm bitter or remember that or anything. So, I don't think this guy's a good manager. That's what I think. His initial foray into the majors, not good. So it's 1 year. It's too soon to tell. And nice guys finished last, so it's very possible that this guy could end up being just a winning manager, you know. But I don't know. I'm not a Bell fan. Now, what's with the rest of the team? It seems like they have top frontline pitching, but, you know, you got Trevor Bauer. You know, when he's on, he's super unhittable. Luis Castillo, he's a young guy who had a great year last year. Sonny Gray, he's had some good years in the past. Anthony DiScalfani, I'd probably pronounce that wrong, but sue me. So that's 4 guys at the top of the rotation that can get some outs. Gosh, that's pretty good. I mean, the Reds fan I talked to was super high on the Reds. He made the comment that the Reds are better than the Cubs. And I shut my mouth because I wanted to make this video, and I was ready to scoff and say, that's ridiculous. I checked the head-to-head record between the 2 teams in the past 2 years. They're even. In other words, they played 500 against each other, which surprised me. So is it ridiculous that the Reds are better than the Cubs? I mean, look at this record, though. I mean, these guys just seem to find a way to not get it done. I don't know. I think we're going to have to fade the Reds. I think we're just going to have to fade the Reds until they prove it to us. Someone will get hurt. One of these guys like Castillo maybe just won't be as good as he was last year. You know, prove it to me, man. You know, you have 1 good year. Do it again. Prove it to me. Trevor Bauer, I mean, it just seems like he throws 1 good game and then he sees something shiny on Twitter and then he's off on another planet or something. So, I don't know. This is a team that's got to prove it to me with that awful record, that awful historical record. I don't like the manager. I'm going to have to say we're fading the Reds. We're going to fade the Reds and, you know, prove it to me. So, that's that. That's the Reds. What's next? The Brewers. Ooh, the very exciting Milwaukee Brewers. I don't know if I hate anyone on that team. In fact, I think there's some people on that team I like. So, we'll check into them next, probably tomorrow. Hit the like button if you like. Hit the subscribe button if you want to be notified when these videos are up. Sports are coming. They're coming. The other 6 weeks or so, and we'll have actual live sports to watch. No fans in the stands, but we'll actually have a sport that we know something about on TV, unlike German soccer or Korean baseball or Belarusian football, what have you. So, there you have it. That's what we're talking about. Thanks, and I'll talk to you again.